as we are discussing the concept of state jurisdiction, wherein we seen that the state territory is also important because for territorial jurisdiction, the territory must be known so that a state can exercise its jurisdiction over that territory, or even in case of extra territorial jurisdiction, it is important because when state can exercise extra territorial jurisdiction, that also we had seen. Now, while observing the concept of state jurisdiction, we seen that there must be substantial connection or territorial nexus between the person, property, and transaction which are happen beyond the territory. Then only one state can exercise jurisdiction within another state. Now there are certain attributes which establishes the substantial nexus between the one state and the things, persons, properties beyond another state. That aspect is the aspect of nationality that we have to see because in IPC we seen if Indian national commit crime abroad, the Indian courts are having jurisdiction as well as the local courts are having. So in that context, we have to see what the concept of nationality and how jurisdiction based on nationality can be exercised by the municipal court, or even responsibility of state can be imposed because of the wrongful act committed by the nationals of particular state abroad. So for these two things, we have to see the concept of nationality not as a whole, but only in relation to jurisdiction. So we have to see here jurisdiction based on nationality, modes of acquiring and losing nationality, how nationality can be acquired by one person and how it can be lost. Then what is the concept of double nationality, as our constitution recognizes the concept of single citizenship. And also the single nationality. So that concept we have to see in some of the nations, they are having double nationality. Then nationality of a married woman. Yes, almost every state, not only US, but almost every state. Even Indian nation can be a Indian national as well as he can acquire the nationality of another state. Yes. So the next is nationality of married woman and Indian position. What India treat about the nationality of married women that we have to study here, and the meaning and significance of statelessness. See the concept of statelessness, how it occurs, and what kind of treatment is given, or what is the remedies for those who are stateless. That is, they doesn't possess the nationality of either country, either nation. And what is the role of United Nations High Commissioner on Refugee for the treatment of statelessness? So these concepts we have to cover. First, we will come to nationality. So nationality is the principal link between the individual and international. So whenever link between individual and international law is to be observed, then the first question is what is his nationality? Because nationality is related to international law, unlike citizenship, which is related to domestic legislation. So nationality is a link of individual, whether individuals are subject matter of international law. If you go into that question, then first it has to be observed that what is the nationality of that particular nation, and nationality is determined by the state law. It is not determined by the international law. International law merely set out the principles to govern the nationality. Still, The ultimate discretion to make law relating to nationality is the subject matter of respective nation, respective state concern. State here again, state is a country. So state law, nationality is a full domain of the state law. The another state cannot intervene. Neither international community can compel one state to make the nationality in such and such way. So under international law, nationality has often been used as a justification for the intervention of a government to protect another country. So for this nationality is used because this is your national. He is our national. The aircraft is registered with our nationality, etc. So it may, however, be noted that international law does not create a correlative right in favor of the individual. So the conferment of right through nationality is done by the respective nations. And international law doesn't confer right about the nationality over individuals. In short, त्या राष्ट्राची वैयक्तिक जबाबदारी असलेली नॅशनॅलिटीचे कायदे कशा पद्धतीने करायचे त्याच्यामध्ये आंतरराष्ट्रीय कायदा इंटरव्हेन करणार नाही. संबंधित राष्ट्र त्याच्यासाठी कायदा करेल, परंतु त्या व्यक्तीची राष्ट्रीयता ही आंतरराष्ट्रीय कायदा आणि त्यांच्यामधली लिंक किंवा दुवा प्रस्थापित करण्यासाठी उपयोगी पडेल. कारण इंटरनॅशनल लॉचा आधार घेताना पहिला प्रश्न निर्माण होईल की तो कुठल्या राष्ट्राचा व्यक्ती. त्याच्यानुसार मग पुढच्या घडामोडी ठरतील. त्याच्यामुळेच तुम्ही पाहिलं असेल की 26/11 मध्ये the nationality of Kasab was denied by the Pakistan to avoid other international responsibilities. So that's what nationality is, a link between individual and international law. Yes. So it create next the internationality create right only in favor of the state whose nationals they are. ते व्यक्तीला अधिकार देत नाही तर त्या राष्ट्राला देतील. तुमचा नागरिक आहे तर मग तुम्ही हे करा. तुमचा नागरिक होता त्याच्यामुळे तुम्हाला या जबाबदाऱ्या असतील whatever. So it doesn't confer any right on individual but rather it confers right obligations on state of whose he is a national. So as pointed out by Stark in this context, the law relating to nationality have following importance under international law. So why nationality is important under international law? For jurisdiction as well as for other matters that has been segregated by Professor Stark as under. First, he says that the protection of right of diplomatic agent, the first aspect. The once nationality is determined, it is to be determined of whose diplomatic agent they are, and then they can be protected. If they are stateless, they doesn't belong to any state, no question of giving immunities, privileges, or no question to recognize them as a diplomatic agent. So first is nationality, then diplomacy. Second, responsibility of state that we have to study under module 9 later as a separate module. So responsibility of state for harmful acts committed by its national against the another state as well as state sponsored activities. एखाद्या राष्ट्राच्या व्यक्तीने जर काही हार्मफुल ऍक्ट केले असतील तर त्याची आंतरराष्ट्रीय जबाबदारी टाकणे हे त्या नॅशनॅलिटीवर ठरवलं जाईल, त्या व्यक्तीच्या नॅशनॅलिटीवर. Then loyalty towards particular state, that for giving opportunity to serve for defense purposes, for other services, because the persons they are loyal to their nations. That's what they were recruited in the services which are important from the point of view of national security, national interest. So loyalty of particular individual towards his state can be decided on the basis of nationality. Why particular person does particular act towards particular nation? So that can be decided by applying the loyalty principle. आपल्या राष्ट्राविरोधात कोणी विघातक कारवाया करणार नाही किंवा शत्रू राष्ट्र असल्यामुळे त्या राष्ट्राविरोधात विघातक कारवाया केल्या हे तत्व थोडक्यात. Then compelled to do military services for the state. Even our fundamental duty is there under Article 51. It is duty, but even state can compel if the need arose that compulsory military services. Even certain states are having laws that allow or that requires that every citizen must have to do compulsory service in the military of that particular nation. India doesn't have that particular law, but it is merely a fundamental. Yes, Israel, even another number of states. So, India doesn't have such a law, but merely a fundamental duty that is not enforceable or moral principle as and when called for. You may have to submit yourself for the defense purposes, or it shall be the duty of every citizen to submit oneself for the defense military services as and when required. So, with this minimal aspect, the military services is made for Indian nationals. The next is state can refuse to extradite its own nationals. So nationality may create a bar for extradition, or the particular nation may refuse to extradite its own national to another state. They may say, like David Headley under 2611, American citizen, American national, was not extradited by America to India in 2611 attack case and prosecuted him in the America itself. They said he is our national, we can prosecute him in America. Still, the extradition of Coleman Headley is pending of India with America. So India said, even you can prosecute, still you can extradite him, even we can prosecute him. Yes. So state can refuse to extradite its own nationals. And the next is during war, enemy character is determined by nationality. दोन राष्ट्रामध्ये युद्ध सुरू झाल्यानंतर शत्रू राष्ट्र सैनिक किंवा शत्रू राष्ट्राचा नागरिक ॲलिन एनिमी वगैरे ते नॅशनॅलिटी वरून ठरवलं जाईल. त्याच्याकडे नॅशनॅलिटी असेल तर. And it is the basis, lastly, it is the basis to exercise jurisdiction over criminal and other matters by the state. Main of our concern is the nationality considers as a basis to exercise jurisdiction over criminal and other matters by the state. त्या राष्ट्राला त्या व्यक्तीवर क्रिमिनल आणि इतर पद्धतीचे अधिकार क्षेत्र गाजवता येतील because he is the national of that particular state, that particular country. So even though he expelled from his own country, the country of his origin, because of the nationality principle, can exercise jurisdiction over such person, even though he is in the any corner of the world. So these are the attributes or importance pointed out by Professor Stark in relation to nationality. Now we will move towards the meaning of nationality. So, it is a bond, as already stated, which unite a person to given state, which continues his membership in the particular state. एखाद्या राष्ट्राचं सभासद असणे थोडक्यात, which gives him a claim to the protection of that state and which subject him to obligation created by the laws of that state. त्या राष्ट्राचे कायदे पाळणं त्याच्यावर बंधनकारक असेल आणि ते राष्ट्र त्याला प्रोटेक्शन देईल. असा बॉन्ड व्यक्ती आणि राष्ट्रामधला म्हणजे नॅशनॅलिटी. नाव nationality is often confused with the domicile. So domicile is a place of residence. One person may be a national of one country or may be having a domicile of another country. So nationality denotes the relation of a man with his nation which protect him and the person is bound to follow the rules enacted by that state. This is the nationality. However, Domicile denote the residence of the person. Person may acquire nationality through domicile. So, if the domicile is for a particular duration, the law of particular countries may make provision that if any person, yes, network problem है का? भाग्यश्री एरर आवाजामध्ये एरर वगैरे येतोय का बाकीच्यांना नो सर येस तुमचं नेटवर्क चेक करून पहा yes so the nationality relates the bond of individual with the nation and domicile denotes the residence of the person yes so domicile denotes the residence of the person. Person may acquire nationality through domicile. थोडक्यात domicile म्हणजे त्या व्यक्तीचा अधिवास त्या ठिकाणी. तो अधिवास जर काही काळासाठी असेल तर काही देशांचे कायदे सांगतात की त्यांना नॅशनॅलिटी मिळू शकते त्या ग्राउंडवर. सपोज 5 वर्ष डोमासाइल्ड असेल एखाद्या राष्ट्राचं तर त्याला त्या राष्ट्राचं नागरिकत्व मिळू शकतं. पण नॅशनॅलिटी आणि डोमासाइल या दोन गोष्टी वेगवेगळ्या असतील. एखाद्या व्यक्तीची नॅशनॅलिटी भारतीय जरी असली तरी त्याचं डोमासाइल वेगळं असू शकतं करंट. कारण इंडियन सक्सेशन ऍक्ट मध्ये तुम्ही डोमासाइलची कन्सेप्ट पाहिली असेल इवन इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. कारण लॉ ऑफ सक्सेशन ऍप्लिकेबल करण्यासाठी इंडियन येस येणार आहे. सो ग्रीन कार्ड होल्डर्स काय काय ते अमेरिकन लॉ नुसार इतक्यात तुम्ही ते विजाचं पाहिलं असेल HB1 विजा visa for such labor, that labor. American Congress recently refused to follow the decision of Trump regarding the abolition of HB1 visa for certain recruitments. That is the domicile. And they may be a national of other countries, China, India particularly. They were hired by American companies, and they reside there. During that time, they acquire the domicile of such particular country. Again, it is a question of private international law. The NRI, domicile, the visas, etc. The Foreigners Act, Passport Act, several other laws are there apart from the public international. Yes. So, in different countries, there are different rules and process in regard to the acquisition of nationality through domicile. Now, third concept that is nationality and citizenship. So, citizenship is a procedural requirement again for particular person. जसं शिक्का मारून घेणे. Yes. Now, nationality means the legal relationship which exists between the nation and the individual. Citizenship, on the other hand, denotes the relation between the person and the state law. Whether to take benefit of that particular state law, then citizenship is required. To take reservation policies of that particular nation, you will require citizenship. So mere nationality is not sufficient in such cases. Citizenship also one another requirement. So in other words, through nationality, the civil and natural rights of person may come under international law. Means your right to life, etc., can be protected. But other benefits that were conferred on the citizen, right to contest an election, mere nationality is not sufficient. That's what we have a provision everywhere. He must be a citizen of India. He must be a citizen of India. Why? National is not required. So there is difference between nationality and citizenship. The person who is national, he may apply for citizenship. So citizenship, on the other hand, denotes the relations between the person and the state law. So in other words, through nationality, the civil and criminal rights of a person may come under international law, whereas the right of citizenship are the sole concern of the particular state law. So everybody may not be granted with the citizenship by the respective state. So it is the discretion of that particular nation whether to give citizenship or not. That's what they extend the citizenship, etc., or may decide later. So it is possible that all the citizens may possess the nationality of a particular state, but it is not necessary that all the nationals may be the citizen of that particular state. सो राष्ट्रीयता आणि नागरिकता याच्यामध्ये फरक असतील. सगळ्यांकडे जरी राष्ट्रीयता असेल तरी प्रत्येकाकडे नागरिकता असेलच असं नाही. त्या नागरिकतेसाठी सिटिझनशिप ऍक्ट स्वतंत्र आहे. तो मात्र त्या राज्याचा भाग आहे. त्याच्यात तरतुदी केल्या असेल जसं आपल्याकडे इंडियन सिटिझनशिप ऍक्ट 2005 आहे. रिसेंटली त्याच्यात अमेंडमेंट झाली 2019 मध्ये. ती क्रिटिसाइज झाली सेक्युलरिझमच्या ग्राउंडवर वगैरे, पण ती कोर्टात अपहेल्ड झाली. त्याच्यावर अनेक आंदोलनं झाली मागच्याच वर्षी की हाऊ स्टेट लॉ कॅन बी अमेंडेड इन सच अ वे बाय एक्सक्लुडिंग अ पर्टिक्युलर community from availing the benefit of the citizenship of India. So that's what the nationality and citizenships are different. Nationality as an international policy can be accorded by passing a resolution, but for citizenship, individual applications has to be made by nationals. Unless it is naturally granted, like citizenship by naturalization, etc. तुम्ही कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मध्ये पाहिल्याप्रमाणे. पण जे नवीन लोक आहेत त्यांच्यासाठी हा प्रॉब्लेम येईल सिटिझनशिपचा. किंवा तुम्ही दुसऱ्या राष्ट्रात गेले त्यावेळी सिटिझनशिपचा प्रॉब्लेम येऊ शकतो. येस. सो citizens are those persons who possess full political right in that state. Even most important thing, reservation for suppose India is concerned, the reservation benefits can be availed only by the citizens. Even the minority status, etc., that is available to citizens. So, or even political rights, you cannot start a political party, even if you are not citizen. You cannot contest an election, even right to vote. So but a person who possesses only nationality in a particular state may not possess all political rights. So civil and political rights. Civil right can be granted to nationals. You cannot be touched, you cannot be arrested without warrant, or all other law will be equally applicable. But if you want to contest an election, you should be a citizen. If you want public employment, you should be a citizen. Read Article 15, 16, 29. The word citizen was deliberately used there. So with this, we can differentiate the nationality citizenship, nationality domicile, and the link of nationality with international law. Now we will go towards the modes of acquisition of nationality, how nationality can be acquired. So Article 15(1) of the UDHR first. UDHR is a human rights document, Universal Declaration on Human Rights, 1948. It was much drafted earlier to the Constitution, came into force earlier to the Constitution of India. Constitution of India came into force in 1950. It was ready in 1949. This UDHR is came into year 1948, but there is the controversy that who copied whom, because the work of Indian Constitution was started very much earlier. Some says that the some of the provision from UDHR were taken by the Indian Constituent Assembly. And others are say it is vice versa. So this is the question of debate even till today. So without going into that debate, we will come to Article 15(1). UDHR, it provides everyone has a right to nationality. So human being a human right document, it confers right to nationality on everyone, either of one nation or another nation. But again, on the other side, whether to give nationality or not, that is to be decided by the concerned state. But one cannot deny arbitrarily nationality to one person if one applies. So next one is Article 20, Clause 1 of the American Convention. Every person has right to nationality. We had sorted those international documents which confers right to nationality. So international law, however, does not provide for a particular way in which a state may make a law for acquisition of nationality. आता हे डॉक्युमेंट मात्र सांगत नाही कशा पद्धतीने तुम्ही नॅशनॅलिटी द्या. तुम्ही नॅशनॅलिटी द्या सगळ्यांना, एवढंच इंटरनॅशनल लॉ सांगेल. परंतु ती कशा पद्धतीने द्यायची, त्याला कंडिशन कुठल्या ठेवायच्या, ती कुणाला द्यायची, तो मात्र प्रत्येक राष्ट्राचा भाग असेल. म्हणून it is the concept of territorial sovereignty, to whom to give or whom not to give. It is the discretion of particular government. That's what the Citizenship Act was upheld by the court, the new amendment. Though it is arbitrary, though it is contrary to secularism concept. So there are two main principles on which nationality is based. While making law, every nation must adhere to these two principles. One, the first principle is jus sanguinis. Now it is a Latin term. It means bloodline. First, bloodline or lineage. That is jus sanguinis. The, the bloodline of the person is to be traced, and second is the birth on the soil of the state territory. थोडक्यात रेस bloodline, and second is birth of on the soil of a state territory, that is jus soli. So jus sanguinis and jus soli. जस सोली म्हणजे त्या प्रांतामध्ये त्या व्यक्तीचा जन्म झालेला आहे आणि त्या प्रांतामध्येच तो पहिल्यापासून आहे. दॅट इज जस्ट sanguinis. So these two principles are basic for giving nationality. State cannot depart oneself from these two principles, that is jus sanguinis and jus soli. So experts generally consider these two principles to be sanctioned by the customary international. हे दोन तत्व कस्टमरी इंटरनॅशनल लॉ मध्ये लॉ नुसार आलेले आहेत. एक तर तुम्ही त्या प्रांताचाच भाग आहेत पहिल्यापासून, आणि दुसरा तुमचा जन्म त्या प्रांतात झालेला आहे. या दोन तत्वांना धरून नॅशनॅलिटी लॉ प्रत्येक राष्ट्रानं बनवायचे. So now we will move towards the modes of acquisition of nationality. What are the way by which nationality can be acquired? तेच दोन आता परत इकडे आपण रिपीट करणार, प्लस बाकीचे मार्ग जे स्थानिक राष्ट्र कायदा करून घेते. Yes, first is by birth. So generally a person acquires nationality of the state where he is born. He also acquires the nationality of his parents at the time of his birth. Second, when his birth took place, the nationality of parents becomes the nationality of children. Then second one is naturalization. आता हे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मध्ये पण पाहिले तुम्ही, when a person living in a foreign state for a long time, that is naturalization. म्हणजे डोमासाईल अधिक काळासाठी असेल. When a person living in a foreign state for a long time acquires a citizenship or nationality of that state. Long time is to be decided by respective nations. 5 वर्ष 10 वर्ष किती येतो ते तिथलं राष्ट्र कायदा करून सांगेल. दुसरं आहे बाय रिझम्पशन. तिसरं सॉरी थर्ड बाय रिझम्पशन म्हणजे परत मिळवणे. Sometimes it so happen that a person may lose his nationality because of certain reasons. Subsequently, he may resume his nationality after fulfilling certain conditions. If person is disqualified, later he get qualified, etc. Already lost झालेली परत मिळवणे. चौथं आहे by subjugation. So when a state is defeated or conquered, subjugation म्हणजे युद्धात शक्यतो एखाद्या राष्ट्राला हार झाली आणि दुसरं नवीन राष्ट्र आला असेल तर ती नॅशनॅलिटी तिकडे जाईल त्याची. ते सगळे व्यक्ती त्या राष्ट्राचे नागरिक. सो वेन अ स्टेट इज डिफिटेड ऑर कन्क्युअर्ड म्हणजे हारला असेल किंवा जिंकला असेल, ऑल द सिटीजन्स अक्वायर द नॅशनॅलिटी ऑफ द कन्क्युअरिंग स्टेट. ज्या राष्ट्राचा विजय झालाय त्याची नॅशनॅलिटी होईल. पुढचं सेशन. दोन प्रांत एकत्र झाले, जसं टेरिटरीच्या बाबतीत पाहिले होते आपण हे मोड, तेच मोड इकडे आहेत. सेशन म्हणजे नवीन प्रांत मिळाला. when a state has been ceded, जाऊन मिळणे in another state, All the people of the territory acquire nationality of the state in which their territory has been merged. Then marriage is also in certain nations. Marriage is also the requirement to acquire nationality. So the laws of many states provide that on marriage, a woman will acquire the nationality of her husband, or even contrary, some nation provides, even US. So for this now, under the Convention on Nationality of Married Women 1957, more protection is given to the woman, as the convention provides that upon marriage with a foreigner, it does not automatically affect the nationality of the woman. So 1957, the first convention, first time creates a bar for automatic conversion of nationality of a married woman. It gives discretion to concerned married woman whether to change her nationality or not. Otherwise, the rule is the marriage changes the nationality. So this is the derogatory or discriminatory practice against the woman. So after CEDAW, it was removed. So a similar provision also exists in Article 9 of the Convention on the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. Now, this convention was made in 1979. That is called as CEDAW in short. CEDAW, Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, 1979. So, this convention says that all nations are directed to remove whatever discriminations are exist against the woman in particular nations, that has to be removed. And one discrimination is nationality and marriage. So by this, the several nations changed their laws. Even our number of legislations were made in India after these conventions, like your Hindu Succession Act Section 6. Daughters were made co-partner in the year 2005 by the Indian government to adopt this convention. So in India, a similar provision exists under the Citizenship Act 1955. And last mode is adoption and legitimation. दत्तक घेतला असेल किंवा children legitimate असेल तर the according to the laws of some state, adoption and legitimation creates new nationality for a child. दत्तक मूल घेतला असेल तुम्ही त्याची nationality त्या पद्धतीने बदलल. Legitimation is a adoption process in another country. That is called as legitimation. It is same like adoption. So these are the mode by which nationality can be acquired. The rest of the mode through which nationality can be lost, that we will see tomorrow.